All right, recording is up. Let's do this. Pierre's got some pretty sick stuff in here. Wow, is everything working? Everything looks like it's working. Nice. I got rid of the blue bar on the bottom over there. It's no longer blue. Thank God. It's weird having blue in my UI. All right. So, environment artist. Looks like Artstation with a .com on top of it. The Eero. I don't know if it's pronounced Eero, but there's a Eero scene and Eero environment. So this must be like prop breakdown. Gramophone. These are always cool to make. I know that Curious had made one. Dude, they're super interesting. Because you've got different types of materials. You've got different shapes that you have to solve. What do you make high poly? What do you make low poly? There tends to be a lot of intricate work, so you have to do a lot of balance between like high poly or high density detail and low density detail. That stuff's a pain to balance sometimes. I should probably tweet that I'm streaming. Yeah, whatever. It's you guys. You're here. And then the old chimney, which actually from all of your other stuff, the old chimney. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. So the image you're using for your old chimney is actually the more flattering one. Obscurity, dude, thanks for the 5 bits, man. 5 bitteroonies. Welcome, dude. How you doing? So, this back shot here, like you get this shape and then you get a little bit of candle. This one is much more engaging. Was that Radum Troy? What's up, man? How you doing? I have no idea if I said that right, but you know. Yeah, no. Anywho, I think that it is much more flattering to have the front view. Let's so what I've decided is each portfolio is going to get about 30 minutes, so let's do that. Oh yeah, Freezy? Oh, okay. So let's copy image. We need photo poo. Two seconds, guys. I'm going to turn the monitor off. I forgot to close some stuff. Some things. Things like stocks and shit. Adult shit. All right. Let's, so what we will do is we'll go here. Dang, this song. We'll just grab this. What's up, Stava? How you doing? What am I doing? There we go. Oh, I didn't even, that sucks. Okay, well, I got that. I'm gonna do this again. Needs more ducks. What? All right, so it's going to be a really hacky quick look. But like, see how much more engaging that is? I'm just going to do that. Ignore the, I'm so picky. Anywho, that is much more engaging for your fireplace, and you immediately have like the an understanding of what it is. Like it says old chimney, you can see from the front, like that looks pretty old to me. Just the way it's built. Maru does need a duck friend. Maybe a duck with a prince hat on or something, a prince crown. All right, so let's get into the first one here. So we got level art, colorful stealth platformer, game made in Unity 5. Which, by the way, dude, I've been seeing some really sick Unity art. So I don't know, man. Looks pretty hot. Looks pretty hot. It definitely does next gen now. If it didn't before, it does now. Or if you had doubts. I didn't have doubts before, but now I'm like fully convinced. 100%. So this is pretty cool. I guess where this image is breaking down is the composition is being hit really hard with lots of detail. So it's hard to see. I'm actually going to copy this, and we're going to bring it into Photoshop just to mess with it that way. I'm going to lower this music for myself. Can we stop calling it next gen soon? Never, man. Never. I mean, you can call it current gen, but when you see what Unity was a year ago and what it is now, it's next gen itself, right? That makes sense. So compositionally in this shot, like I guess we're gonna use Photoshop, not Epic, for this one. So we've got the need for color. Look at that. See, now it's AAA. Less color equals AAA. Not true. So compositionally, we've got this kind of going on, right? We've got the water, which is popping out. Then you've got a strong line. You've got a strong line there. I'm gonna have to turn this pressure off. And then a strong line there. There's another strong. I'm just gonna start pointing out all where lines get really sharp in the composition. So everything tends to be pretty straight-edged, angular. Oh wow, I just painted on the image. Whatever. Anyways, where it does start to break apart is you are getting like this edge work here. So paste again. So this edge work here is really nice, and it's breaking up. It looks like there's a little bit of a hole right here. The shader for the water is pretty nice. It's very linear though. It's either it's there or it's not. If like it looks like you've got a little bit of a breakup in like a mask maybe. If you could like if you could break that up. Let's see if we can fake it. I'm like, there's a way to back up on these. F. I have a lot of caffeine in me, so I apologize in advance for the chaos of my pen and stuff. Actually, let's make it a little harder there. Let's do no. Nope. Screen maybe. So if it were to come out further, and then I guess we need to add the little dots and stuff. This is where I wish I had like Photoshop, like ZBrush brushes inside of the. Oh, that's not gonna work out at all. Anyways, Let's lower this down. So if it was coming out further, for example, like that, maybe it would have to be a different color as well. And adding the breakup like you have in here, I think you could get some really cool effects to the depth of the liquid, or to the water edge. And then adding stuff in there that's floating, pieces of wood and stuff like that, would really help out, especially since everything is so broken down. Is it backspace? It wasn't doing it. So if I'm doing like this, no, that's cool. I have no idea. I thought it was backspace as well. Anyway, so we're looking at those. Those are pretty smaller things. What we want to look at, I think, is more along the lines of like getting depth, and then also getting your water to be more in line with what you would expect going into a shadowed area. So like what you're seeing on the water surface right now is what is going on here? On the water surface right now, what you're seeing is basically the reflections of the sky throughout the surface's reflectivity, all this stuff here. So like in order to get away from that, like that's what makes it look 3D. If this all was reflecting more of this type of stuff, then it would probably work. And I think that has a lot to do with like the real-time reflections, and just, I don't think that's real-time reflections. I think it's grabbing a cube map, which is reflecting the sky back to you. So like it's probably better if you can take the, let's see if we can take the water and so your buildings are pretty shadowed back there. So you would expect the highlights to be pretty shadowed as well. Yeah, it's not gonna do it, man. Obviously that's not the color we want, but you can see now that also is pushing it back. So then your focal point becomes the fire here, which is really bright for how bright the sky is. I guess, sure, this is in shadow, but your shadows wouldn't even be this dark because of how clear sky it is outside. And then the other thing I would suggest doing is maybe using fog or a thicker atmosphere in order to get the look you're going for. I'll just do this to kind of simulate it, even though it's going to be really hacky looking. All right, there you go. So like, see how the stuff going further back? And if it happened again, let's see here. Maybe even further back than that. So let's exclude all this stuff. Oops. So just having the stuff go further back in space. The other nice thing is because you're doing that, we can go in and the bridge ends up automatically popping out more because the element of it being closer in space is there. Let's gradient this a bit. This is pretty, I apologize for being so quick about this, but like the bridge pops out more, then you get more depth in the back, and then everything just starts to become more focused on the stuff up front. Like the back becomes more subdued. The shadows, remember that your shadows need to be lighter as they get further away. And your highlights will continue into space to the camera easier, or for greater distances. That's like that's atmospheric. What's the term for that? It's like It's the atmosphere basically breaking up the particles, the light photons and such, so that they don't get to your eye. So shadows, there's less. Yeah, it's scatter. It's atmospheric scattering. So like particles that are really like bright sources, like really reflective things, will come all the way through atmosphere much further than particles that are bouncing off of an area that's shadowed, because that's already a bounce, right? Okay, let's move on to some other stuff. The detail in here is really nice. If I remove all this stuff and let's just put this one back on. So the other things I would point out are stuff like why this edge here is really, like, make sure that doesn't happen. Like, just take those bricks and just do it all the way up the top. It's happening here too. I guess if you want the edge to be like that, then you need to bevel those two edges one more time and then soften the edge between them. And wherever you have these bricks transitioning to the paint, this kind of greenish paint, then you're going to want to probably expose more of the brick material around where that's happening. Also make it so these brick pieces, you can paint on them if you need to. So maybe they repainted on them. But it's happening here as well. Hard edges there. Careful with how hard these edges are. Like, just add cuts throughout here and just angle it a bit so that nothing is like razor sharp geometry straight. Like, a lot of that is just compositional stuff, and usually this area is, in most compositions, is going to be in direct light. If you want it in shadow, that's cool. But dude, look how colorful this is too. I mean, you could use the atmosphere to push the color back as well as it gets further away to kind of like fit with the style you're going for. Oh yeah, dude, this is super cool though. Especially with how this plays, you really need to push the atmosphere to separate everything. And all the elements that are really close to you, I would suggest like blurring them. After the AAA filter. Now it looks indie, man. This is super cool. But yeah, it's a lot of like your eye is fighting with the where to look, and oh man, this is so cool. Look at that. Just get this bigger. So it's super cool, and you guys are moving the cameras around to like let the player know where they're supposed to be going. When they hit that, when he gets on that boat and does the jump, if you had like the boat dips in the water, it gets a little bit of a ripple, or there's a little bit of a splash. That alone would do so much more for that. And then I think some particles, stuff coming out of the chimneys. And then getting the atmosphere just a little bit thicker. And then again, the objects that are really close to the camera just blurring out. But I really like that edge of that boat is just a silhouette. Super cool. In general, though, man, this is really impressive. Dude, when I was going to school, they didn't even know how to teach people to actually make a game. Oh, that particle's cool. It doesn't really fit the scene, nor does that, but dude, that looks sick. Someone looks like they're having fun with particles. Dude, the dripping like neon fluid stuff. Man, I think you should make some 80s style like robot going through some alleyways. That'd be pretty sick. Some 80s dystopian sci-fi. It's like a robot that can change from like a cube shape to like a sphere. It's just like super sick. In general, this is pretty awesome though. It's really just composition stuff, I think, as well as some of the more technical, like trying to get rid of those hard edges, and like you've got the wood bending down, getting some better reflections in the water. I think yeah, I mean, this is already pretty awesome, but it could always be better. Oh, and I like those little barnacles on the bottom of that bridge. So that bridge is pretty cool, but it's very like, it feels really low poly. It doesn't really fit the style of everything else. It's like maybe it needs to be more rounded, and then like the top needs to have the really detailed roofs that these do. Like the, what do you call that? What's up, Shaw? How you doing? Yeah, in general, it's cool, dude. That right here, there's like a thing that peeks out right there. It almost like looks like an emoji of like a head starting to come out, and then it's like, oh no, just kidding. It's part of a building. No, it's funny. See, that should be really light. Graffiti, how you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so let's move on to some of your other stuff. So this looks pretty awesome. Pretty well executed. The damage on the wood, the metal, the detail work in the normals. Record looks pretty awesome. The record's pretty thick, but I think it has to be pretty thick in order to like really sell the look. Dude, if you really wanted to, you could warp because this is so old looking, you could warp the record just slightly. So it's got a little bit of a wobble in it. It looked pretty cool as the roughness kind of goes around it. Oh shit. Happy Friday, everyone. Man, this is what is it? Marvelous, Marmoset. Like Marvelous Designer, yeah. So Marmoset, I don't know if it's the preset you're using or the environment you're using, but man, it is really crunching your values. So like your blacks are getting much darker and your lights are getting much brighter. Whereas like these ones look really good. See, it's the same thing. It's Marmoset tool bag. So I wonder if it's just the 3D. I wonder if it's just the 3D real-time viewer. This is awesome though. This looks great. Oh, that's super cool too. Rolling Stones, dude. Yeah, you can get a link to this portfolio. I posted it in the Discord as well. I think I'm gonna start. Where's it at? I think I'm gonna start posting it in with this. So where am I at here? These two. So I think when I do portfolio reviews, I'm just gonna drop it in announcements along with the message. So it'll be like that. Oh, I should probably do this to them. So they don't drop previews. There you go. So I'll start putting them in there. How's that? So there's another Ricky's is next. But we're just going through this. It's relatively, there's areas where you could remove some geometry, but I mean, it's pretty, I don't know. I would ignore that for now. This looks cool. It looks good. I don't have much to say about it other than the warping of the disc maybe. And I like that the facade, like front detail is on the front, but the back is like really plain, kind of basic. The close-ups look awesome. Very cool. There's a little bit of a disconnect between this metal piece and the wood. I wonder if it's just how reflective this is maybe, or the roughness range between the two is so great that there's no bridge between them, so this kind of feels like it's floating. Not sure. Pretty cool though. I would say this was a good prop steady, good material steady as well. All right, then we got your fireplace modeling and retopo. Dude, retopo, that sounds brutal. Wait, what? Each of the 12 rocks are between 300 tries, the smallest 800. So this thing's pretty high poly. Mainly because it's actually constructed, right? I think in some scenarios this is okay. Man, I love those candles. Those candles look great. You've got like a really good subsurface action going on. Yeah, it's really difficult because I think if you want to achieve the look of this material, you have to either commit to like all that geometry, or you have to like commit to accepting the fact that there's going to be areas where it's just not real. Oh man, ref too. Oh man. See, the other thing too is like how these are constructed is they stack it, right? But they're also putting like either concrete or grout in between them. And you could see it a lot right here. Like it's kind of getting close to the edge. So you could make like a base or a body. And then you could place these into that, and then that would make it look more solid without having to spend as much geo. You could also use the shader that was on the water to like make the what that's there's no background on that message. Damn, son. 5 grandiose. I don't even, what is that even? Is that like $5 or something? I don't know what that converts to. You're like, oh, this is cool. This is a nice presentation of the pieces. Oh man, yeah. See, you're not giving him nearly enough. You're just not getting close enough to it in this. These are also super high poly. Like they probably don't need to be this high, and you could still get the same look. And those candles are crazy high poly. You could probably at least half those and not notice. That's $80? That's impossible. What? Hang on here. No. I'm gonna start crying. What? It is $80? Holy shit. Holy shit. I don't know what to do with that. Wow, yeah, okay. Thanks, man. You guys should just spam the I gotta chat. Like that's fucking crazy. Okay, I need to focus. Let's go back to, so there's a top button, portfolio. Yeah, cool. So, oh man, how come I didn't see this one? So you've got a level 80 article as well, which is really good. I will have to buy him one now when he's old enough. Dude, he's old enough. We just have to go to the right place. So this is really good that you have a level 80 article. Being able to do articles is a huge, like I probably have not really talked about this all that much, but getting a job in the U.S. as a non-U.S. citizen, it's basically required that you have a lot or a decent amount of publications. So like articles, books, magazine posts, awards, stuff like that. Stack that stuff up because they use that to decide if you're worth it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if other countries do that, but it's pretty heavy-handed. This is cool. This is great. Oh man, this is cool too. I've always liked seeing renders like this. All right, we are sitting at a little over 30 minutes, so I'm going to move on. But your portfolio is pretty dope. I need to think a little bit about. I think you're ready for at least applying to indie studios. With the style that you're portraying in your portfolio, it's really difficult to find a good, like a big AAA studio to get into. But I mean, those exist. There's AAA studios. There's indie studios that go for this style. So like, one thing that's kind of clashing a bit is you've got this Eero kind of stylized stuff, and then you've got like this gramophone, which is trying to go a little bit more realistic, and then more stylized stuff here. So I'm curious, like, what your interests are. Does it say in your resume at all? Like, are you really you're in Montreal, so that's good. You have a passion for photography. That's awesome. So I guess I want to know. Oh, you've got a little bit of experience too with a mentorship. Cool. So I want to know what games you want to make. I guess that doesn't. I'm not seeing that anywhere. Like, do you want to do stylized stuff? Do you want to do like real? Is he working at Compulsion Games? Is that what that? Hang on. Intern environment artist at Gearbox. For 3 months till April. Okay, so you're I'm not sure what you're doing. I don't know if you're floating right now or. But dude, if you've got this, you should be able to apply and get a job somewhere. But yeah, I'm curious, like, I think people might get turned off a little bit by not knowing, not turned off, but confused or unsure what to do with your portfolio, if they should contact you or not. Mainly because stylized versus realistic, and not knowing what your interests are as far as like what you want to make. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking most likely you want to make stylized or non-realistic games. Maybe a mix, a little bit of a mix. Maybe some like Borderlands stuff. But then it's like, once I decide that's the direction, then I'm like, okay, what do I do with a portfolio where I feel like the person wants to make Borderlands type stuff, but I'm not seeing Borderlands type stuff. So like you end up, the viewer ends up choosing which one for you, if they feel like choosing, and then once they choose that, then they have a order of quality that they're looking for, if that makes sense. This is sick though. This is my favorite. This one's cool. My favorite. Anywho, onward and forward. It says in his Artstation, really? So I guess his portfolio or his resume and his portfolio is just not up to date. That's another thing, is make sure. Oh yeah, what am I? Eyeballs. Use your eyeballs. Okay, no, cool. I mean, that's all it is. I don't have much else to say then. I went on some rant for no reason. It's really important to keep all this stuff up to date too. I'll end it with that, and then look less dumb, and we'll move on.